Our 2017 Dry Riesling is sort of a Riesling with multiple personalities. So this is a wine that was fermented in both neutral barrels and stainless steel. When it comes time to making our dry Rieslings, I like to think of these as a cuvee of everything that we work with in the cellar, put together in a package that perfectly represents the sites, the vintage, and a stylistic approach that's fairly different. So from the barrels, we get the autolytic reactions of cells breaking down and adding some texture and weight to the wine. From the stainless, we pick up more fruit. We pick up kind of a brighter, more linear approach. And in 2017, because we had so much warmth from August through harvest, we actually saw a slightly lower acid profile in our Rieslings than I usually would see. I'm not offended by that. I actually really like it because it's different from what we're used to seeing. And in some ways it lends itself to a Riesling style that is a little more approachable to the regular wine drinking consumer. So with that said, this particular dry Riesling contained about 10 or 12 different lots of Riesling, each fermented in its own approach, each with its own kind of goal in mind from the day it was harvested. And what we do at that point, once we reach the point where it's time to start blending the wine, is taste all of these lots separately. We line up upwards of 25 different glasses, and then we start to play with proportions. We say, 5% of this lot, 15% of that lot, 30% of this one, whatever makes sense. And we set up all of these different glasses and create a lot of different blends. That's our blend trial. Once we find one that we think starts to stand out, then we start to fine-tune that even more. And we say, well, does it need a little more fruit? Does it need a little more acid? Should it be broader? Should it be drier? And we reach a point where we're finally at a blend that we say, yes, this is exactly what we were going for to represent our winery's 2017 Dry Riesling. So with that said, let's go ahead and taste this wine. This is a blend of the 3 Riesling sites we work with: Morris Vineyard, which is 10 miles down the road, Gibson Vineyard, which is about 10 miles north, and Cashon Glen, which is about 15 miles north, all on the west side of Seneca Lake. We have a pretty straw color. This one is still looking very bright, vivacious, young. On the nose, I'm getting some kind of lanolin, a little bit of a waxy character. I'm getting a lot of warmth. I know, just from working with it, that Gibson Vineyard often produces either this really intense sort of apple peach, and in some vintages it produces almost this sort of like spearmint, minty, eucalyptus type note. And on this wine, I'm particularly finding that eucalyptus character is just jumping right out. I find it interesting because obviously no eucalyptus grows here. In Australia, there are a number of particularly red varietals, Cabernet Sauvignon, planted near eucalyptus trees. And the oils from those leaves in the wind will blow on to the grapes, and traces of that will be found in the final wine. And they can give it this nice eucalyptus mint quality to the wine. Obviously, we don't have that. I think it's just something natural to the site, but it's something that I particularly really like. So yeah, on the nose, we're getting apple, citrus, but it's a subdued citrus, almost like if you've ever tried to dehydrate a lemon and smelled it afterwards. I'm also getting a little bit of like bruised apple. Now, bruised apple in a wine can sometimes be a hint of oxidation, but it doesn't go that direction. It's not matterized. It's more of just like super ripe, really ripe, and kind of softening a bit. And on the palate, it sort of betrays the nose, because the nose you're smelling, it smells broad. It doesn't smell very bright. It's these deeper notes, deeper flavors. But on the palate, the acid is still there. And it carries this richness through. This is probably the richest style of dry Riesling I've ever made. It's in contrast to the 18 and the 19 vintages and really everything before that. With that said, it's a delicious wine. I think it's a little out of character for the general style, but it is certainly true to the vintage. It's also a wine that I think, you know, because of that acid profile, our final blend had a little more residual sugar than we'll usually have in a dry Riesling. That combination, though, is going to make this an amazing dry Riesling to age, because in time, those little bits of sugar will fade back on the palate. You won't taste the sweetness quite as much. But what you'll find is it will increase the perception of density on the wine. And the acid being what it is, I mean, this is still, I think, right around 3.0 pH, which is really low for wines of the world. A lot of times they'll be up to 3.2, 3.3. It just creates this unique picture of Finger Lakes Riesling. I think you compare this with many more generous styles of food than you might think. I personally really like it with things like chicken and mushrooms and mashed potatoes. Any sort of Caesar salad, that creamy dressing. It sounds weird to say, but sometimes we do breakfast for dinner. And it goes really well with eggs and pancakes. So get creative with this wine. It's delicious. It's one that I turn to a lot as if I want kind of that nighttime, have a sip, something that's not too bright, broader on the palate, but delicious. It's that kind of dry Riesling.